one. She was I guess in many ways, the missing piece of the jigsaw puzzle for what they needed.
Yeah, Eliza West adds that additional inside grunt, and when you've got a run and carry style of football like the Hawks do, that addition makes it a lot harder for an opposition team to sort of come to par. But I think the challenge with that is how clean she is. And if she gets her hands on the footy nice and early, and the Hawks are running and carrying through, the way that they want to and on their terms, the Eagles might have their work cut out for them.
A couple of good inclusions for the West Coast Eagles today. They'll need them. No question about that. Kelly Gibson didn't play in their last game. And Jess Hosking for a toughness and a ferocity inside forward 50 as well.
Yeah, I love both those inclusions. Kelly Gibson's a real role model for work effort and performance in that forward half for the West Coast Eagles. Been doing it for a while. Actually had a really good impact this year. Jess Hosking's the other one. Come to the club after being delisted by the Tigers. She's the 5th highest ranked Eagle for the season. So they'd be wrapped about that. Then you see the 1-2 punch down in the back half for the West Coast Eagles. Emma Swanson, it's a new role for her under Daisy, doing a great job, averaging 22. And Charlie Thomas, this young talent who's emerging right before our eyes.
We've been talking a lot about, before we started on air today, about the recruits of the season. Kirby just mentioned Eliza West as being one of them. I wonder, our Amy reliable player for today, Ali Drennan, I wonder whether she's in the conversation for one of the recruits of the season.
Should be close. She's had a great season for the West Coast Eagles. Another new acquisition. Look at those numbers. They're all in green. They're all career high averages. 20.7 disposals, 4.6 clearances, 11.4 contested and scored involvements as well. And of course, measure a player by what happens when they leave another club. I think the Gold Coast are desperately missing Ali Drennan at the moment.
Couple of minutes away from the bounce of the ball. We mentioned it is a cracking afternoon for footy here at Kinetic Park. And of course, Lauren Wood is downstairs, ready to go. She's a local, she's a celebrity in this part of the world. Hello, Loss.
Oh, it is God's country. As you know, Jack, this is our local here in Funky Town. The tunes are pumping. It doesn't get much better than this. I'm going to have the best seat in the house today. Sun is beaming down. A little bit of a breeze that Half mentioned there, heading towards the beach end. But a healthy crowd in the house. We're in the thick of Pride round, so some beautiful rainbows across this magnificent ground. Let's see some attacking footy.
Who's winning, Half?
I'm on the Hawks, although these conditions, that takes away a bit of the width that they like to play with, so it will bring the Eagles into it just a little bit, I reckon.
Well, we're set to go. Week 7, Season 9 in the AFLW Pride Round, which is one of the great exhibitions of inclusion and importance in this AFLW season.
And there's a good match-up early doors. Ella Roberts and Eliza West, that first centre bounce.
Wales won the tap out. Bodie was excellent when Hawthorn won here last Wednesday against the Gold Coast Suns. Rolls it up to half forward. Hit well, got a handball away to Gilroy. Awkward bouncing ball, it's bouncing all the way there. Hawks on the ball inside the first minute.
Well, it's a perfect start for the Hawks into the breeze, Kirby. It's a good rolling delivery there from Gilroy in the end to get it done. And we were out walking the ground earlier. This ground is really hard. It's a really hard oval. So no surprise to see the ball just rolling here. And I've got a bit of a theory about the size of the ball too, but I'll tell you more about that through the afternoon. That's a brilliant performance by Gilroy and a perfect start into the breeze for the Hawks. Well done to them. Gilroy's been such a good addition to this team since they came into the competition from the Kangaroos, and she's having a huge impact this year as a goal kicker.
Well, a dream start for Hawthorn. They're attacking, they're fun to watch, and they're direct with the way they play. They lead the competition for disposals per goal. Only 31 disposals per goal, so they don't mess around when they got the footy. Win the clearance again. Breed got the full tour of Kinetic Stadium. There's West, Lucas Rod, they knock it on. The inboard kick is okay. Here's Drennan. Right place, right time. And the breeze a factor straight away. Hosking, this is her home ground. She knows these conditions and she read it well and she drives inside forward 50. Gibson locks that ball up.
We saw it before the game, didn't we? Had a bit of a chat to Jess, the local, like you are, Jack, and she told us a story which set me on my heels a bit, which I'll let out at some stage through the afternoon. It's, well, I would just say that's a normal day in this part of the world. Well, let's just say, Kirby, that it's got something to do with the machete.
Okay.
So stand by for that story through the
I'll
afternoon.
look forward to it. It can go anywhere.
If you have just joined us, this is Week 7 in the AFLW competition. It's not Crime Stoppers. Ball's out of bounds. Kirby, when you're playing a fast team like Hawthorn, who really like to try and run and gun, if you're the West Coast Eagles, how do you How do you try and slow them down in the early stages?
Yeah, I think you like to push them in and create that congestion, because you like players like this and a team like this needs that space to be able to utilise those strengths of the run and carries type of game. So if you can congest them, push them in and push them towards your teammates, then I think you would start to get on top of them.
So Hawthorn playing 5 ahead of the footy here, even though they're going into the breeze. That's what we'd like to see.
Wales was dragged down by Wakefoot. Should win a free kick. Stringing together a very nice season, Lucy Wales. Pick number 25 in the 2023 draft.
She's the second highest ranked Hawk on the list, only behind Eliza West, so she's having a huge impact.
A kick into space for Stevenson, back into the team today. Spent most of her AFLW career as a defender, but lined up with the forwards today. Ashmore, quick hands, works back to McDonald. Now Breed got boot to ball. He just holds up slightly, chopped off by Wrench.
Difficult in these conditions to get the read of the ball, but you can be a little bit more assertive when you're positioning, when you are playing with the breeze as a defender, because the ball's going to hold up for the opposition team trying to move forward.
And then look at it carry to the other end. Hosking couldn't get a hand on it, so it'll be a Hawks ball. Tell us more about that theory of yours, Hunt.
I'm telling you, there's something about this footy, Kirby. You've played with this as well. It's a roller. These footballs, for whatever reason, they're a bit smaller than the men's footies. They keep rolling forward. You watch this afternoon, and you'll see every time it hits the deck and rolls, very rarely does it just sit up. It continues to roll forward.
Lucas,
I'm onto this. I've been doing some unofficial research into this.
I saw him out on the ground, Kirby, before the game, Daniel Harford, just stepping out the ground.
Yeah, I thought he was going to pull a hammy.
Just being a bit weird, if I'm being honest. Nice hands. Releases Fleming. And when she's off and running like this, she's hard to stop. Smart ball use. Did not blaze away, always makes a good decision.
Yeah, it's a really nice finish. She's the #1 inside 50 player for the Hawks as well, and uses the ball really well. They're great option. Good vision. Would have been easy. A lot of players would have just bombed that to the top of the goal square.
10 goals for the season for McDonough. There's something we weren't expecting. Played on. Go the handball back to Ashmore. Tough kick from the pocket. It's across the face.
That pocket's going to be impossible to kick goals from today. It's going to sweep right across from left to right from that pocket into the breeze. But they're doing a good job here, the Hawks. They are running. They are taking the space that West Coast are affording them. A bit unusual, unconventional to play on from the mark, but it's nearly worked.
22 disposals to 7. Hawthorn's way early on. Bella Lewis. It's a little left foot ball.
I like what they're doing. The Hawks, they are spreading as soon as that footy's in their hands. They're creating that space for that run momentum that they want to do, and when they're doing it, they're then also lowering their eyes and hitting those lead up, so it looks good.
9-1 handball receives just to back that up, Curbs.
It's Drennan in the base of that pack. Since round 3, Ali Drennan averaged 22 disposals a game. There's been so many success stories for this West Coast Eagles team this year, but as we spoke about off the top, her addition shouldn't be understated. Handball didn't quite make its way to Western. Bodie in around this ball. West Coast are doing a good job of slowing Hawthorn down.
Well, they've got all numbers up. They need one player forward to that scrimmage there. 30 metres away from the scrimmage goal side. Now they've got 4, which is going to give them a chance to score if they get the ball forward from this contest.
Lucas Rod. Kick Wakefoot. Did okay, and then Gibson's read this one nicely. Judged that ball beautifully. No one home, so it's all on Kelly Gibson to bounce this ball through. Just needs it to bounce the right way. How good was that?
Well, that was a beauty. What a good goal. Important, Kirby. They were able to reset at that stoppage because they'd committed all their numbers up at that contest. Sent 4 forward after the last stoppage, got it forward. Then Kelly Gibson, that's a great read. You've played a lot more than I have and watched her more than I have through the journey. That was a brilliant finish.
Yeah, well, she's really matured as a footballer as well, and to read it, you know, knowing that Breeze is actually really carrying that footy, she just read it so well, and her breakaway speed was exceptional, and to slot that goal, yeah, great start for the Eagles.
7th goal of the season for Kelly Gibson. If she's one out inside 50 curves, she's going to be a handful for Hawthorn.
Yeah, of course. She's great size, athletic. She's played premiership games, and yeah, she's going to be hard to stop if she gets up and about.
A good steadier for the Eagles, who will be very keen to cash in on the strong breeze to the right of your screen. Free kick going to Emily Bates. 3-time All-Australian. Just to drive that ball out to half forward. Umpire got in the way of Goranova. Still good enough to gather. Cleaver pokes a pass over the top. Bushby's got some work to do.
Gibson's out. Didn't get there.
Just didn't quite make it to Kelly Gibson. Will sit up in front of Jade Britton. Clever uses it to Gibson. Now back to Britton. Has to think her way through. She's run down. Great defence from the Hawks.
Just didn't give up, didn't quit on it. Gilroy was good, got stepped early and then came back, and with her explosive power off the mark, was able to get a hold of her.
Not quite sure what to do here, Gilroy. Just to kick it as far as she can down the outer side. Knocked on by Hitwell, but Charlie Thomas can repel. Back inboard.
That's a ripper. That opens the game up for the Eagles to go forward now.
Richardson was camped there on her own, waiting for it to land.
I love it when the teams look to change lanes and use their skills, because you're right, it opens up the ground and creates that shift and better gameplay. It's good to watch, that really aggressive attacking style of footy.
That's one thing that you'll get with this Hawthorn team. Michaela Williamson hugs the boundary line. Nice work from McDonough. Kept her opponent away from the ball and then tries to place a left foot kick, but they can't get past Swanson.
Love this new role for her. She's been brilliant across half-back for the West Coast Eagles. Takes more often than not the big key to forward, send half forward for the opposition most weeks, and then just reads the ball better than most, like she did on that occasion. Good stuff.
Experienced, composed and skillful. Great leader.
Good combo.
It's been a bit of a change with a few teams half in the last couple of years of sending the experienced players to half-back, and Tilly Lucas-Rod's a good example for Hawthorn, setting the game up from there.
Well, composure, as Kurz picks up, it's such an important part of it. Being in full control of the emotions, let alone the scenario in those areas of the ground where you are under pressure, can make a huge difference. If you get that right, gives you a chance not only to rebound, but not get scored against as well.
Great knock-on from Breed. Inside the attacking area is Hitwell for Hawthorn. Here's Breed, who's followed up. She's hard to tackle. Just got a handball away. That'll be high contact on lock.
Can't do that, Jess. Too far out to score, you'd think, into this. It's about 3 or 4, I reckon. We were out there before. About 3 goals to the right of your screen.
And the second goal, second game of the season, I should say, for Sophie Locke. Kicked a goal last week in her first game.
Got there.
Did well to make that distance.
Yeah.
They're pretty reluctant to have a shot at goal from that, that length away.
See what the Eagles do with this opportunity. What do? Do you chip it in and then go long quickly, or you try and go long from the kick in? Tried to go long at this stage. Hawthorn set up beautifully behind the ball though.
Ball will bounce on. It's a hard surface here at Kinetic Stadium, and it favours Cleaver.
So all the West Coast numbers committed up, which is, I reckon there's an opportunity for Days to keep a couple stretched here, particularly from kicking.
The same scenario again. This time Cleaver was a little more patient, hung on to the ball for as long as she could, and sits up in front of Lewis. And the kick was smothered. She'll get a second opportunity here, Bella Lewis. Send it back to a dangerous area. All of the Hawks defenders have fallen over except Ashmore. And just as well she was there, because otherwise Backer was through.
Yeah, she'll be disappointed with that little bobble, that little fumble there, son of Backer. That was a goal gone begging for the Eagles.
Fleming around the footy. Kicks a high ball. Bit of holding going on. Just a question of who was doing the most holding. It was the Eagles. Both were guilty. McDonough got the ball to ground level. Wrench got a handball away, but
tackle pressure's been good from the Hawks. Giving some reward for their defensive pressure.
McDonough more direct with her kick. The Eagles are all set up. They spoiled each other. Roberts came over the back, but it's okay. High kick sat in the air for a while, and that'll suit Hawthorn. Richardson was back waiting. Paddle towards the boundary line. Michaela Williamson, the local.
Saw Roxy Rue there going for that mark for the West Coast Eagles. She's at the top of the arc there. You can see her on screen. I remember seeing her in her under-18 championship year, and she was unbelievable. I thought, who is this? Got the best name in footy, Roxy Rue, and she could play. I know she had some challenges with injuries in the last couple of years, but if we see the best of Roxy Rue, by goodness, that'd be great for the Eagles and for the competition, because she's got a heap to give.
37 games with the Dockers. They made a West Coast debut a couple of weeks ago. So the Hawks lead by a point. We're a tick past 13 minutes in this first quarter.
We've talked a bit, Curbs, about the Hawks and they're running into the Breeze and the way they're playing. But what would you do? How would you set up the forward half of the ground for the Eagles with the Breeze?
Yeah, with the Breeze, I feel like you need to lengthen the ground. You need to, because the footy's carrying, it's probably going to go over your head anyway. So you want that space. You want to be able to lead into that and create those leading options, because defensively they then have to spread and go one-on-one, which then challenges the Hawks. It works in the Eagles' favour defensively going into the Breeze because it's holding up and it's allowing them to contest.
Donna was out of position. 4.5 minutes before quarter time. West Coast just calling for a bit of calm here through Wakefoot. That'll be 50 as well.
You've got to get numbers to commit forward to the contest here. You can't let Hawthorn just retreat back and have no opposition. See a few blue players get into the right of your screen, a lot of brown in the middle of it.
Zoe Wakefoot just slewed off the side of the boot a little bit, but the bounce will be a tough one. Gibson with her back to goal, has Ashmore now for company. Looks like the Hawks have made that change early.
Yeah, well, she's proving a problem, Kelly Gibson, at the moment, isn't she? She's the real threat forward of the ball for the Eagles.
Simmons back into the corridor.
Speaking of threats.
Handball to Weston, was almost through. A fumble, just cost her.
So I don't mind that move. Ella Roberts playing a bit deeper forward. She started on ball, but with this Breeze again, the ball's a chance to be there pretty quickly. So if she can get one-on-ones, Ella Roberts, she'll win most of them.
She's a dangerous player. She's always going to take the dangerous backman too. So if she's down that forward line, Hawks really need to be accountable.
Good tackle, strong tackle by Roberts.
She's had an amazing year.
Did it fair and legal. It's been, I mean, she's 19. She's still got so much improving to do, Curves, but it's been a breakout year.
Yeah, she's just warming up, and she can play big and small aerially. She's nice and clean, great skills, and just, reads that footy so well.
Goranova, good kick to space. Roberts dropped the mark. Turns around and snaps goalward. He didn't quite have the journey.
We just pump her up. She drops the mark she should have taken. That was a sitter. Come on, Ella, help us out.
She'd mark that every other day of the week.
Oh, 99 out of 100 she'd take then.
Swanson, strong in the pack.
So we saw Aileen Gilroy kicking prior to the game from this area and slotting the through-post high.
And Swanson lays it off into the pocket. Nice kick for Gibson, right into the leading lane.
Yeah, but this is not the pocket you want to be kicking from. You want to be opening up the left-hand side of the forward 50 if you're going to this right-hand side of the screen. That's where you can get better angles with the Breeze to just assist you. This is going to be a very, very challenging kick. Kickable, but it'll be a lot easier from the other side of the ground.
She's kicked a goal already, Kelly Gibson. The degree of difficulty on this one is about as high as it gets. And that one goes across the face and still hasn't gone out of bounds. All of the Hawks had stopped. They thought it was over. Now it is with Verity Simmons.
Probably not a bad result there to bounce here for the Eagles. The game should spread a little bit on the back of this setup. Hawks will try and get a few forward of the ball. Eagles got a +2, so it's going to be a free kick off the ball here.
What'd you see, Huff?
It was West Coast Eagle pushing... Who was it? Was it McDonough? Well, yeah, it is. She's got the ball. Just pushed her off the ball, pushed her to the ground. What grand scheme of things? Not much in it, but right in front of the non-officiating umpire.
Minute and a half to play in the first quarter. the Hawks will be happy just to wind the clock down here. They played last Wednesday at this ground against the Gold Coast Suns and didn't handle it when they were kicking against the breeze all that well. So looks like they've learned a few lessons from last week. Hoskins' tackle was a little high. Jazz Fleming, disposal number 6 in this first quarter. Bouncing ball into the middle. Gilroy stood up in the tackle. Bounces in front of Stevenson. Height of that bounce. Now Bates onto her left foot, looks for Bodie. Intercepted and slammed out of defence by Swanson. Wakeford went and made a contest of it. Still plenty of time here for the Hawks. It's coming back in through Kemp. West Ham ball intercepted. Nice work by Drennan. Wrench turned back into trouble. Now Lewis to the wing. And will carry over Gibson's head. She escorts it to the boundary line.
So the Hawks have been pretty disciplined behind the ball, Kirby, just keeping shape, keeping 3, 4, 5 players behind, regardless of how they're moving inside their forward 50. They're happy for those players at the source, in front of it, to do the work, and they'll hold shape behind the ball.
Yeah, they're looking good. It's the Eagles also need to think about when they're going with the breeze. They need to take advantage of it because right now, you know, it's a point the difference. Hawks are about to go with the breeze, and we know how they play. They run and carry, and they want to go long. So I'd like to see them just shift their mentality and utilise that.
Time's going to be the Eagles. 117 Hawthorn, West Coast 1 straight 6 on a glorious Saturday afternoon at Kinetic Stadium in Frankston. Second quarter is coming up shortly.
Quarter time, folks. Welcome into everyone in the chat. Halfwit, Bianca, Sophie, Ryan. Welcome in. Of course, we've got 2 good teams here battling it out. This is a great contest between Hawthorn and the West Coast Eagles. The Hawthorn, who was kicking into the breeze there, well, they ended up in front. 117 to the Eagles. 1 goal, 6 points. There we go. So both good teams here. Both got good skill in for a cracking game here this afternoon. All right, it'll be interesting next quarter, folks, when, let me just go back to the lineups and just have a look at the ins and outs. For the Hawthorn, coming in were Breed, Hipwell, Stevenson. Going out was Stratton, Edley and Stone. And of course, for the Eagles, coming in were Jess, Hoskins, Gibson. Going out were Lyons and Lakey. They were the team lineups. Let's go and have a look at the stats. All right, leading the way, Aim McDonough, as she does. She's pretty good. She's leading the way with 8 disposals on the ground this afternoon up until quarter time. 3 kicks, 5 handballs, 1 mark, 1 tackle. Ella Roberts there, best for the Eagles on 7 disposals with 3 kicks, 4 handballs, a mark and 2 or 3 tackles there. Let's just roll down the board. We'll see your favourite player. Tell you what, it's a beautiful day down there at Kinetic Stadium, down there in Frankston today. Sun is shining, a little bit of breeze down by the seaside. And of course, Hawthorn will be kicking with that slight breeze in the second quarter. West Coast are going to have to be on their defensive side in the next quarter because we know Hawthorn like to run and gun with the ball. So it should be pretty good. Aileen Gilroy for Hawthorn is the only single goal scorer. And of course, for the West Coast Eagles, Kelly Gibson is their only goal scorer. Let's have a look at the team stats. Shouldn't be too much in between these because it's been a pretty even battle so far, folks. All right, Hawthorn by 7 in the disposal count. Only a couple of kicks, 5 more handballs. Inside 50s, both teams having plenty of chances. Good to see Hawthorn got 7 inside 50s against the breeze there. That's pretty good effort. And, of course, West Coast inside 50 10 times for 2 and 1 scoring shots. So both defences holding up pretty well. Their disposal efficiency, not too bad, 63, 69%. They do look reasonably clean with the ball. They're handling it well. Their skill set is showing. As I said, this is a pretty good game. Free kicks, have a look at those free kicks. Well, there's something you won't see too often. 9 free kicks to 0 in the opening quarter. Wow, the West Coast Eagles didn't get 1 free kick. There we go. The hit-outs, Hawthorn dominating the hit-outs. Not so much in the clearances, though, just by 2 in the clearances. Centre clearances 1 apiece and 2 in the stoppage clearances. Contested possession. It's a pretty well contested game this here, folks. 29-24, uncontested, both having the ball in their midst. When they're finding space, turnovers 14-11, not too bad so far. This is a pretty even game, this 41% in possession time for either side. Hawthorn by 1%, so very little there. Marks, both marking pretty well. Marks inside 50, they're both finding their target there. West Coast Eagles just a little bit better in the contested marks, 2 to zip. Tackles, both teams tackling reasonably well. Hawthorn on target for their season average. West Coast Eagles just a little bit below, but they found a couple tackles inside 50. All right, folks, let's get back down to the ground. It's the Hawks by 1 point, and they're going to kick with a breeze in this second quarter. Let's see how they go.
Between both of these two teams who have some of the best youngsters in the competition out there this afternoon. Daniel Harford, Kirby Bentley, have we seen the opening quarter?
Well, a bit of an arm wrestle early doors. The Hawks seeming to have the first phase of the game, Kirby, under control with their contested possession wins, but also their ability to run and carry the ball inside their forward 50. And then West Coast got possession back around stoppage. They evened up contested possession. They're only down 5 for the quarter. And clearance is only down 2, which is normally a strength of the Hawks. So a bit of an arm wrestle. Into the breeze, I reckon the Hawks will be happy.
Let's get downstairs to Lauren Wood, who's got the coach of the Eagles, Daisy Pearce.
Thanks, Jack. Daisy, you had the win there that quarter. Did you feel like you made the most of it?
Yeah, we generated plenty of opportunities, just probably a few fundamentals errors that meant we didn't score. But what we were proud of was their organisation. Hawthorn are a team that likes to move the ball, flick it around a bit, so we were able to put it back into a contest quite a bit.
It's certainly exciting and skillful. You missing being part of the action? We haven't seen you down on the bench so far this season, but you're right in the thick of it today.
Yeah, just a different look. I mean, I'm learning every week as well, so now that I've got a bit of a feel for what happens up in the box, just a good opportunity to come down and be able to have that instant kind of interaction with the players.
Well, the tunes are pumping, so it's certainly an enjoyable experience. Hopefully you can make the most of it the next 3 quarters.
Hope so. Thanks, Loz.
She's doing a wonderful job in her first season as coach, Daisy Pearce. What does she do this quarter, though, Kirby, against the breeze? How does the game change for West Coast?
Yeah, they're going to have their work cut out. Hawks like to create that space in the run and carry, like we've mentioned, and yeah, Hawks, I think they need to play behind and push them up. Make sure that footy's landing in the hands of the Eagles first.
Ali Drennan's made a good start of the game. Disposal number 6. Former Gold Coast Sun. We mentioned her high numbers this season. It's Mark, taken by Roxy Root.
My girl. Love to see her hit her straps.
Strong on the chest. And Greta Bodie gets back.
That's what I like with the Hawks this season, getting Greta Bodie up the ground a bit, using her awareness and her experience, but also her speed. Get up amongst it and then get back to goal. She does that really well. Whereas traditionally she's been a bit stagnant in the forward 50 too often.
And McDonough kicks for territory. Clever kick in the end. Didn't try and kick it too hard, just happy to let it roll on and get it inside forward 50.
Well, and knowing that if you get it inside forward 50, it goes out of bounds, it's not a free kick, so you can get the reset. Outside, we've got the last touch rule, of course, so it's clever. You can just aim for the inside 50 boundary and go your hardest.
Great game awareness for someone who's played 26 games at Australian rules football.
I think she's one of the best key forwards in the competition.
Doing the ruck work there. Push on Lauren Wakeford.
Zoe Wafer's got the job on Anya down there for the defenders at the Eagles today. Tough job.
So Hawthorn 6 wins and just the 1 loss for the season. Coming into today, their win last Sunday against Fremantle in the West after a short turnaround.
3 players down.
3 players down, travel, the whole works. Daniel Webster said he was so proud of the group, and you can kind of understand why.
Yeah, that was the win of the season for me, for the Hawks. I've had plenty of them, as you said, but that was tough. It was gritty against all odds, and they got it done. It was brilliant. Just living in Conferenceville at the moment.
It's a good place to live.
It's isn't it ever?
Take up permanent residency there.
No tax either.
No,
It's like Monaco.
it's Thomas. Only as far as Ashmore. And normally you would say that this might be just outside Caitlin Ashmore's range, but with this win, anything's possible. She's going to pump it to the goal square, push in the back. That was clear for everyone to see. And Anya McDonough should kick her first from point-blank range.
Well, we talked about that matchup before with Zoe Wakefer, and she's such a threat, Anya McDonough. See the replay at the bottom of your screen there, just a clear push in the back. That's pretty straightforward, but she's a threat, so you do find yourself, I reckon, as a defender sometimes just making bad decisions because you know if she's somewhere near it, she's half a chance to get it.
For her 11th of the season and a career-high number, the Hawks get the first of the second quarter.
As you say, it's the way that the Hawks are going to play there. They know that they want to get it forward. We've mentioned kicking it out inside that 50 because I know it's not a lasso kick back in, but it keeps the defenders of the Eagles under pressure into the breeze, and they're able to finish with a goal like that. And that's what you want to see. I was just watching Eagles defensively as well. I think they need to play off the Hawks and see what they can do with that.
Just the difference, Jack, too, and Kirby, in that entry. Same spot for Emma Swanson in the first quarter with the breeze. Went to the pocket to Kelly Gibson. Didn't get a goal. That one goes to the left corner of the goal square. Much more dangerous position. They find it was a free kick, admittedly, but they find themselves in a better spot to score goals.
Drennan straight out of the middle. Here Frankston. Ricochets off some shins and into the arms of Bates. Good things happening for the Hawks when they get space. They can link up like that, but West ran out of room. And the Eagles hold up defensively. Here's Jess Hosking. Played a junior footy at Seaford about 10 minutes from here.
Strong grab from Roberts.
West Coast happy to be patient, build it up. And Bella Lewis dropped one that she would normally take. Bates takes the initiative, back into the middle. Hipwell ran past the ball. Hawks just happy to knock it on, gain some territory, and have all of their numbers sitting off. Stevenson's a left footer. High to the breeze. It's just a question of the bounce, which is a good one.
Territory is the key for the Hawks at the moment, the way they play, not messing around too much. They got the ball back and half back. We're able to get it inside their forward 50 really quickly. That is our Medibank mind-blowing moment. Great finish from Lou Stevenson on the left. Pretty handy to have that left foot there. I don't think a defender really identified that early. She was going to roll left. She might have tried to cut back on her right foot, but left footer just gave her the advantage there. Puts it up into the breeze, lets it do the work, and puts it through for another snag.
So 2 goals in the first 4 minutes for Hawthorn. We mentioned Lou Stevenson back into the team today, playing as a forward. That'll be great for her confidence.
Good experienced campaigner. Nice to have back in the team, I reckon.
Slick through the middle. Wales knocked that ball down to Bates, is starting to really come into the game. Belinda Smith intercepts for the Eagles. Any concerns early on here for West Coast Curves?
Yeah, well, Batesy's been hot in the first, few minutes of this quarter and getting that footy, but she knows what she's doing. She's putting it on the boot, putting the pressure on and utilising the breeze. So she needs to be stopped. She needs to be closed down on, and the Eagles need to keep possession.
11 disposal, 3 clearances for Bates at the moment.
And Kemp got a kick away in the nick of time. West follows up, little handball to Stevenson, who kicked the last goal of the game.
I reckon Westie would have been better to move that ball forward then, rather than feed it to Stevenson. As we have a little meeting for the boundary umpires, the field umpire, to work out if there was a last touch situation.
Yeah, you're right. I think she needed to put that on the boot. That's what's happening with the pressure here. And Eagles are playing so tight one-on-one defensively. They're actually getting caught out, which means they're chasing.
So there's no spare for the Eagles, which is probably important to know if you're watching at home. No spare behind the ball for the Eagles, even though they are trying to work against a big breeze here, which is good to see. Yes. Fleming, different scenario last night.
Very different. Bodie. Gilroy tracked after it. Wrench got a little fist in, which was just enough to get the ball out of play.
So it's all one-way traffic at the moment. He's looking at time in zone in this second quarter. It is, what's the percentage? 80-20 in the forward half of the Hawks.
2 early goals for the Hawks. Hitwell can't make it a third. When they get their momentum going and they get their tails up, the Hawks, they are a very, very hard team to stop. This quarter's only been going 7 minutes, nearly 8 minutes, but things very much on their terms. West Camp under the ball. And Drennan fishes a handball out. Wakefor's kick smothered. The Eagles under big pressure again.
I feel like the Hawks are cleaner when they're moving through traffic. Like you watch Batesy in that early stoppage, moves through the traffic, draws her teammates, allows that run and carry an option and or puts it on the boot. So the difference in their cleanliness is, I think it's pretty obvious at the moment.
All their players around the ball, but West Coast send Lewis to the stoppage. She makes a difference no matter what part of the ground she's in.
Having all sorts of trouble here, the Eagles trying to exit defensive 50. Can't win clean possession, as you call, Curbs. It's a good call. And the Hawks are so well set up behind the footy, there's nowhere to go, even if they do win it.
Battening down the hatches right now, West Coast. They've already let 2 through. They should be able to clear here as Thomas kicks from a standing start. 2 and out number. And Lucas Rod marks and sends it straight back to the danger area. McLaughlin went crashing in. No free kick for a high tackle.
That was a lot better by the Eagles. You know, they need to be able to move that footy the way that they did just then, but you need to spread as well and create the lead-up options and that relief coming out of that back line.
The Hawks have taken the advantage and Bates cashes in.
Well, we talked about Bates already, and then this second term alone, she's putting on a bit of a clinic at the moment. 4 disposals and a goal, a clearance as well. For the game, it's 12, 3 clearances now, a goal. Now, she wasn't the one that earned that kick, so to speak. It was the free kick that was given to a teammate. Lou Stevenson was held off the ball, but she identified the situation quicker than anyone else. We're all looking at the umpire trying to work out what was happening. Emily Bates doesn't wait for anyone. Another goal for the Hawks.
Was brilliant on Sunday in their win over Fremantle. Emily Bates, 19 disposals, 9 clearances and 8 tackles in that game. She's up to 12 and now a goal today.
Yeah, leading by example, as she's always done in her time in the AFLW. This is the problem now for Days. This is becoming a lead that's going to be very challenging to try and peg back, let alone try and get in front of at any stage in the afternoon.
As Kirby mentioned too, it's all starting for Hawthorn here.
Yep.
Around clearance work and stoppages. That time they can't get through.
So there we go. So we've dropped, Charlie Thomas has now dropped back as the spare defender.
Jess Vukic taking a turn in the ruck for the Hawks. Hamill gets fired out, but Ashmore was there. Smith will kick from a standing start. Rue tried to pull out, but that'll be a free kick. Quickly kicked forward by Tamara Smith. A 19-point lead to Hawthorn. They let not just the 1 point at quarter time. They've done all the attacking in this second quarter. Kicking with the advantage of a strong breeze. Bates wins a free kick for high contact.
12-3 free kicks for Hawthorn. Not that they're supposed to be even.
No. Beth Schilling changes direction, Kirby. You were calling for that?
I like to see the change of directions. It sort of disrupts the Hawks defensively and it allows the Eagles to use their game in that they like big grounds, West Australians. We like to run and carry, so yeah, it looks good. It's gonna work out for them.
Belinda Smith to the wing. Rue over the back. neutralises that one.
So it's really compressed ahead of the footy here for this stoppage on the wing for the Eagles. The deepest player is only about 35 metres away. So they're not banking on winning too much of the footy here at this stage, the way they're setting up. It's really compressed. Look at the numbers on screen there, left of the ball. That's their whole forward line.
Hosking wheels her out, back onto her right foot. Bushby was eased off the ball. Williamson to half forward, but Swanson's there. She's got some support. Kick will be okay. Cleaver maybe could have got a free kick there. As Jamie Harkin tackled strongly into the ground. West Coast have still got a little under 7 minutes to navigate.
She's a good player to watch, that Cleaver. See her there with the yellow headband and the ruck, or the ribbon. She's just a young talent, a seriously good netballer as well. Played on, round one, she played on Katie Brennan and locked her out and did a hell of a job. Now she's playing in the ruck, so a really versatile, mobile young athlete that is evolving nicely.
Former under-19 netballer, involved with the West Coast Fever program as well.
Netballers make the best crosses.
So I heard, Bentley, so I heard.
You notice how we both just looked at you straight away, Kurtz?
I felt it, yeah.
We're just waiting for you to come in. There's no praise like self-praise.
If we don't do it, nobody else will.
That's it. It's been a better 3 or 4 minutes here for West Coast.
This is the worry outside the bubble.
It's about to get worse for them. If Fleming's starting to get her hands on the ball. And stoppage about 47 metres out from Hawthorn's goal.
So outside the bubble, the West Coast are really tight now. Once it gets outside that little first layer, that first ring from the scrimmage, Hawthorn are always the first to react and get to the ball quicker at the moment. So that's something that Dave's going to address at half-time.
Williamson, quick by hand, must gather to Lucas Rod. And these awkward ones are the hardest one for the defenders to try and control. Hipwell didn't make great contact initially. Ashmore kicks that ball straight up and down in the mine shaft. And Root used their body well. Although Hosking's handball intercepted. McDonough lurking dangerously. Tackled high. A chance to kick her second from close range.
To the naked eye, it looked okay. That must be the first arm, I reckon, that comes across the shoulder of Andrew McDonough there. But again, she's such a threat. You've got to be mindful of it. See the replay. Gee whiz. Might have been the back arm, the left arm that dragged a bit high, perhaps. Not convinced.
That time misses to the near side.
What are your thoughts of Ella Roberts sitting as spare down the back? Like, I would like to see her around the footy because she can win it and then use it. But if she's sitting back, is that an advantage or a disadvantage to the Eagles?
I'm not sure that's helping at the moment. Them progress the game. It's probably trying to just put things on hold for a little while. Play like Ella, I think you're right, because I think you do want her up around the footy in these situations, and you can free up Swanson if you try. If you want to get someone free, roll a winger back and take Swanson's player, and then let her be the free and dictate the spare positioning to get Ella back up where the footy needs to be.
So, Curbs, you'd play her as a pure midfielder, would you?
I would play her around the footy because I think she reads it well. She's nice and clean. She can, and she's always going to take someone, as in a defender of the Hawks, and they need to be accountable for her. So I think make the Hawks accountable.
Gilroy carries the distance. We saw her warming up half from that sort of spot at that end, and she was pumping them through halfway up.
Yeah, she was. She's flushing a couple. It was quite something to watch. It's that round the corner sort of kicking actions that open the hips up and then really let loose, which the Irish players do so naturally. Gets a lot of distance.
West Coast continue to play this side of the ground.
So hit forward of the ball now for the Eagles. It's one player. Yeah, one player. It's Bushby, and trying to split the two defenders for the Hawks. Got a hell of a task in front of her if they can win this.
Kick comes back into a central area. Elliott, swift hands, and Lucas Rod. Launches deep, some holding going West Coast way this time. There's Jess Vukic on screen, kicked the sealer last week in their win over the Dockers.
$14 to 4 free kicks you see there on the screen. Well, like this.
Clever from Schilling.
But then you can't rush the next possession. That's the thing. When you play on and you get around them, sometimes your adrenaline's pumping and you just bomb it rather than own possession. Just find a target on that occasion. 20 metres away, that would have been perfect for West Coast.
I think coming down the same side of the ground, it isn't working. So let's look to change lanes and try an aggressive attacking style of footy if you can and see what the Hawks do about it.
And Schilling at the base of this pack. Hawthorn lock it away. They kicked 3 goals in the first 9 minutes of this quarter.
So they've done a pretty good job to hold them up.
Yeah.
In fairness. They've dominated the quarter.
Here's Harkin. Injury replacement player. It's been good for West Coast since coming in.
This ball going back in will be 13 to 1 inside 50s for the quarter, for the Hawks.
Richardson kept it low this time, but Schilling was there.
So they've clearly been told to play this defensive side of the ground. The wind is pushing everything out here, so they want to fight to move it up to the open side. That's fine, but you're still going to spread with width and have a system where you've got players on the open side, so it just drags Hawthorn defenders out of the space that the ball's probably going to end up in. Just provides more opportunity to mark the footy.
You need those 45 leads to be able to release the kick and put them into the grass, which then allows that lane change. Right now, they're just continuing to go down the line, which makes it easy for defenders to come across and impact.
And West cleared that handball. Bates has had a big quarter. Ashmore's had an impact too. West Coast have got a player down. Just at the bottom of the screen, Fleming almost through. A good tackle by Swanson. She's hard to catch at the best of times, Jazz Fleming. Swanson did it well.
There's Jamie Harkin got bowled over just in front of Lauren Wood down there.
It's thrown up in the right part of town for the Hawks. Bodie snatched it away and Roberts corrals her. Clock down to 25 seconds. Schilling's hands were quick. Simmons good, gave it away. That was excellent.
But again,
West Coast can't get beyond this point, but they are absorbing time, milking the clock for all it's worth. And that'll be 50, but the siren's going to beat Michaela Weston. They'll trail by 21 points at the main break, West Coast. But halfway through the quarter, it looked like it could have been a lot worse.
Yep.
This young team's learning on the fly.
Yeah, they've learned to adapt. They've got a good trust in the system. I'm not sure we're going to see the barrel get all the way here, but we'll give it a go. Not a bad rotation of the footy, barrel-wise.
It's a nice excuse to kick a tall.
That's true.
Coaches normally hate that. It's just a freebie to kick a torpedo. 4-3-27 to 1 straight 6 at the main break. As we mentioned, Hawthorn kick goals at the 3, 4 and 9 minute marks of the second term, and West Coast didn't concede another one after that. Lauren Wood.
Jack, I'm down here with forward on you, McDonough on you. You made the most of that breeze in these magnificent conditions, really capitalised.
Yeah, it's always quite windy here in Frankston, so we know that we kind of have to push up on the ball and hopefully try to get a few out the back. We're a fast team and we want to get the ball out in open space.
You're a magnificent attacking outfit too, and there's been a nice even spread for you girls up forward. You're really sharing the load.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was the focus on us all year, that if everyone steps up at different stages, it'll be a tough team to kind of mark us when everyone's kind of shooting from all angles.
How do you see it? I mean, it was clearly a very gritty win last week. You're in a prime position now. What do you like to see in the second half?
And we just stick to our structure and keep working hard. West Coast are a really tough physical team, and we know they're going to come out again in the second half and put it up to us. Hopefully we just stick to what we're doing and keep working through it.
Fingers crossed. There's a lot of support out here for you. Hopefully you can make the most of it.
Hopefully, yeah. Thanks so much.
She's kicked a goal in the second quarter on you, McDonough, and has had a very, very good half so far. 4-3-27 to 1 straight 6 here at Kinetic Stadium in Frankston. The Hawks by 21 points at the main break.
Pride round is so important, not only for those playing the game now, but for those that support it and have supported it. Pride round is obviously really important across the league. Diversity and inclusion, it's a massive part of what our game's capable of promoting. It's such a positive direction. That inclusiveness is so important. Whatever we're doing, as long as we're inclusive, celebrating people, you can't go wrong.
Aussie rules.
All right, there we go. It is halftime here at Kinetic Stadium, and it's the Hawks 4-3-27 leading the Eagles. Still one goal. Eagles unable to score in the second term, but the Hawks look pretty dangerous with that wind-assisted end. I'll tell you what, they kicked long, the ball carried, and they did their job. Hawks putting on 3 goals, 2 in that second term. Looked absolutely fantastic. But the third quarter, folks, it will be the West Coast Eagles kicking with a breeze. They need to get some score on the board. They've got to make the most of the third quarter, kicking with the breeze here, if they want to have any opportunity in this game today. Let's go and have a look at the goal scorers, of course, and the disposal count. The goal scorers for today's game so far: for Hawthorn, Louise Stevenson, Aine McDonough, Aileen Gilroy and Emily Bates. The only goal scorer for the West Coast Eagles so far is Kelly Gibson. Let's just roll through the disposal count. Go and see who the top disposal getters are on the ground. Yo, Sniper, what's happening, brother? Welcome in, Ebony. Chris, good to see you, bruh. Sniper, thanks, mate. What's going on? What's going on? Happy Saturday, happy Saturday. Emily Bates there, topping the table for the Hawks. She's got 14 disposals out on the ground today. Having a good game. Kicked a goal. 10 kicks, 4 handballs. She's having a cracker. Aine McDonough always has a good game. She's got 12. Charlotte Thomas, the best for the West Coast Eagles so far, with 10 disposals. All kicks, of course. 10 kicks, no handballs. She's had a mark and a tackle. Let's just roll down here. The commentators will be back not too far away, folks, to give you a little bit of their analysis on the opening half here down here at Kinetic Stadium in Frankston. As I said, it's a beautiful ground down here. A little bit of breeze, of course, because it's down by the seaside. Of course, all the folks down there. After the game, I'll probably go for a nice walk on the beach. Just magnificent. Disposal count, oh, you can't get much closer than that. 108, 107. Only one to the Hawks in front. Inside 50s. Well, the Hawks dominating there. 21-12, 21 inside 50s for 7 scoring shots. West Coast Eagles 12 inside 50s for 1 scoring shot. As I said, that wind-assisted quarter for the Hawks there certainly helped them out, getting it inside 50, giving them every opportunity to score well. As I said, the Eagles, they need to do all they can to get the score on the board. They need to start kicking long. Just kick it long down into your forward. Put the pressure back on the Hawks. Move the ball quickly. Give your forwards every opportunity. Free kicks 15-9. There we go. It was 6-5 in that quarter. Hawks still leading the hitouts there, 25-14. But the clearances, Eagles getting on top in that department, 18-15. They've had 1 extra in the centre clearances, 2 extra in the stoppage clearances, contested possession, uncontested. Look at that. You can't get much closer than this. This is a well-contested game here today. Even percentage in hand of the ball, 42-41%. There we go. It's a ring-a-ding-ding tight game, this one. 22-15 marks, West Coast by 7. Marks inside 50. Both hit their targets a couple of times there. Contested marks, Eagles a little bit stronger. And the tackle count, Hawthorn bringing a little bit more pressure there to the Eagles, 38-26. 9-2 inside 50 tackles. Hawthorn doing that job very, very well. All right, let me just bring up this quickly. Let me just have a look at the ladder, and we will see if Hawthorn continue on their merry way and end up winning this game, which it looks like they may well do. They will go top of the table. This is the live ladder, folks. This is the live ladder. Of course, Hawthorn will go on top by half a game there. Of course, West Coast Eagles will stay on 10th position. West Coast actually need to win this game to jump up into the top 8, but they're facing a very strong Hawthorn. So let's see. There's a lot on the line for both teams. Let's see who can be victorious today. All right, let's go back down to the commentators.
The Hawks inside 50, 14-2 inside forward 50 in that quarter. 93% in their forward half, 45% of the game in that quarter was played their forward 50. So extraordinary pressure on the defence of the Eagles, but after the first 9 minutes, it held up okay.
Yeah, they killed it. You're right. They were able to sort of shut that down, and Hawks could have easily gotten away with kicking a couple more goals on top of them, but for them to be able to come together or pull that together and apply that defensive pressure and hold it up at least gives them a great look in when it comes to the breeze kick. You know, they're going with the win now, and hopefully they can take advantage of that and level it out.
That was the first goal from Gilroy into the breeze for the Hawks in that first term. That was the only goal scored by the Hawks in that term. Then Kelly Gibson had a bit of a moment. It was a pretty good one-on-one win with the breeze in that first term. Got the Eagles on the scoreboard. It was even Stevens at quarter time, and it was pretty much all Hawthorn. They just didn't get away to dominate through that second half of that second term, but Stevenson had a lucky bounce here, but put herself in that situation. Nice goal for the Hawks, is one of theirs for the second term. McDonough got one, Bates gets one as well. Is the advantage free kick to Bates, and she's been everywhere in the first half. 14 disposals, 3 clearances, a goal, 7 contested possessions. She's been the standout player at the moment for the Hawks in the game.
No question about that. They lead by 21 points. A conversation going on in the Hawthorn rooms right now. Curbs, Emily Bates, we just saw her last goal, which was a lucky one in some respects. She was paid the advantage and she went on with it. But when Hawthorn needed a lift in that second quarter, it started with their number 1.
Yeah, she's clean, she's experienced, she's a premiership player, and she's able to move through that footy and reads it so well, but so composed under pressure as well, and to be able to draw her teammates in and create that running carry facing away from goals, that's what you look for in leaders and in those sorts of experienced players.
So it's the Hawks who lead by 21 points. Half-time here at Kinetic Stadium. It's all part of Pride Round, Season 9 in the AFLW competition. The second half is coming up next. Stick with us. Next, it is Hawthorn who lead by 21 points at half-time. On a big day in week 7, there are games going on all through the day and through the night, and a lot of them have consequence for the race towards the finals. Let's get downstairs. Lauren Wood's keeping an eye on everything boundary side.
Thanks very much, Jack. And in the best seat in the house, as we mentioned before, the conditions are absolutely magnificent here. That breeze coming and going a little bit. Obviously, West Coast will be looking to make a little bit more of it in this third quarter. Jess Wrench, now mind my poetry, spent a lot of time on the bench in that last quarter, having her left ankle attended to, but she's back out there with a little bit of tape, and it should be a fantastic second half.
Not really sure where to go after that. I think Loz choosing journalism over poetry was probably a good call. I think this is where we started the third quarter. Gilroy got a big shepherd on the way through that created some space. Searching for McDonough. The most dangerous forward on the ground in the first half. Now Sophie Locke. Chips a pass. Breed used her body well. Should we paid them up?
Strong unit, Mattea Breed. She's been a bit of a revelation on ball for the Hawks this year under Dan Webster. He's really shown a lot of faith in her in that role and capacity to break tackles and get through congestion. Really positive and can hit the scoreboard as well.
Came out of the supplementary draft. What a find she's been for Hawthorn. It's marked in the goal square by Beth Schilling. It was held up well defensively for West Coast. Hosking on the end of the exit kick. It's Bella Lewis.
This is foreign for the Eagles. They're not a short kick team. They like to kick the ball long, keep it in flow.
So a contest on the wing. Hosking, good physical presence, jarred that ball free. And Jay Britton rolls it along the grounds and out of bounds. West Coast wearing black armbands this afternoon is for Jay Britton, whose uncle sadly passed away during the week.
Yeah, the footy clubs do that really well. Respect the passing of the family members and of the players and the staff. It's a nice tribute to pay. Ella Roberts playing forward, started this third term for the Eagles as well.
Now West has only got McDonough ahead of her. Ball sits up. Pat Gilroy charging towards goal. Hit that footy at speed and finishes. To be sure, to be sure.
Well, Curbs, I reckon that's the nightmare of defenders. Doesn't matter if you're going into a breeze, with a breeze, no breeze at all. If you've got Aileen Gilroy goal side of you with an open 50, it's a bad day at the office.
100%, and we know this about the Hawks. They love to run and use their speed, and they do it so well. And I found in the start of this quarter they're aggressively attacking and aggressively defending as well, which means they're hitting out first on the footy, and when they're getting their hands on the footy, they're obviously spending it well.
This Irish connection of McDonough and Gilroy, they just seem to know where each other is every single time.
Yeah, well, they've just got a good system in place. Two really important parts of the puzzle. We've talked about the puzzle today for the Eagles and the Hawks. They're critical components of the Hawks puzzle, those two forward of the ball.
Big goal for Hawthorn as well, against the breeze to start the third quarter.
It's just a place you can't see. You don't want to be seeing her backside looking at goals as well if you're a defender. You just cannot allow that to happen.
Tackled by Bates. And play on the call. West waste no time. It'll fall just short of McDonough. Schilling will get back, but she turned into traffic, and that's going to create all sorts of problems.
Now these are learning things for Beth Schilling. She's had a great season, rising star number 9. And doing a pretty good job, as you said before. Held up pretty well, but turning back into traffic, back into the corridor. It's a dangerous thing to do. The way the Hawks pressure you anyway, any part of the ground. It's a dangerous play. Better off rolling around, just clearing that ball, finding a nice safe exit. As a result, McDonough has a chance at her second. Left post.
Opens it up slightly. It's working back and won't make the distance. Not over the line just yet. Now the boundary line wins out. There's Greta Bodie. Hasn't been her biggest afternoon numbers-wise. Career high 18 disposals last Wednesday when we were here against the Gold Coast Suns. There she is on cue. Little left footer fell short. Gilroy snaps around, has already got 2. I can't add to that. 4 minutes into the third quarter. There's a point the difference at quarter time. Since then, Hawthorn have controlled proceedings. Lucas Rod with another entry. Swanson tackled fairly and legally by Locke.
So Roberts the deepest for the Eagles. Ruse playing open side, half forward. Gibson, the narrow side option. Another free kick inside defensive 50 for the Eagles. It's way too many of those been given away today. We're going to get a blood rule too, I think, for Bella Lewis. Still on the knee. You can see the bottom of that left knee, a bit of a scrape. So West won't make the distance here, right? So we know this. So for West Coast Eagles at the moment, you've got to cut out the sit in front of your opponents, have someone in front, someone at the back, cut out the little short leading lane and make them kick long to numbers.
Not a long kick at the footy as a rule, Eliza West. She knew that.
So it's not it.
Madonna paddled it to her advantage. Wakefoot on the last line. Uses Kelly Gibson on the way out.
This is when you can start to think about opening the other side of the ground. Now, West Coast committed numbers to this side, so it's a challenge now, but the other side of the ground is the best place to score from when you've got the breeze.
I agree with you, and you need to shift the defenders of the Hawks, because what's happening is Kelly's holding it up in the back half, and Hawks are just coming down and flooding up their space. If they can open up the ground and utilise this, we're running and chasing, then all of a sudden it's in the Eagles' favour.
Roberts goes past the footy. It's work from Wales.
Gosh, a bit stiff there.
Lauren Wakefoot. Every game this year, played all 10 last year as well.
So Breach is a great spot.
She slams that into Wales. And should then get a free kick for one over the shoulder. Excellent from Lucy Wales.
Yeah, she's having some sort of year loose. They'd be wrapped with her output. That's okay, you can deal with that.
And McDonough on the lead, got a bit too close to Schilling. Has to try and go and win that footy back.
That's okay defensively, Kirby. You prefer that, having a forward lead up in front of you into the breeze and marking outside 50. You can have that all day long.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's where you want it, especially going into the breeze. You want them outside because it's out of their kicking range, which means it gives you another opportunity defensively.
Simmons bangs it into the middle. Gibson's taking on 4 Hawks. Held up pretty well initially, but Richardson puts it to the outer side. Simmons has Bodie. The strength of Greta Bodie just burns off. Thomas eased her opponent under the ball. A lock. Fossicking around for it. Into the boundary line. We're talking about some of the great stories. Verity Simmons is such a unique story, Curbs. This time last year was on the West Coast Fever list, had been a netballer her entire career, and well, very late in her career, it's got to be said, made the change to AFLW and has slotted in beautifully.
Yeah, I was trying to convince her back when we were playing together, which was 1980-something, but I like the idea of, cross-coders coming into the game because they add value, and she's an international, National League netballer, so that leadership qualities that she can offer these young kids would be incredible.
Saw her in the second quarter half, through the middle, kicked a left foot ball.
Yep.
And it's dawned upon me then, I'm thinking, 12 months ago, she wasn't even playing the sport. Now she's kicking left footers through the middle.
And that's becoming just as important as ever, being able to use both sides of your body. Didn't have any bad habits to break.
No, that's right. Fleming makes sure that Weston can't get that ball away. Hawks by 28 points. Approaching the halfway point of this third term.
just watching their Eagles' movement around stoppages and then their ability or maybe inability to be able to set back up in their forward half. I'd like to see them get back and find their direct opponent and then work off them if they can, because defensively the Hawks are sort of controlling that.
It's Bridie Hipwell back into the team today.
The other big standout for me, Curbs, is Hawthorn's ability, physical capability was what it is, to be able to get out into the space quicker. They're just showing more maturity physically, better conditioning perhaps, more experienced about when to go and when to stay.
Here's Bates bursting through. All class.
And there we see her again. Emily Bates is probably what I talked about. First to react, get out of the scrimmage. You see her on backer here at the stoppage, reads the ball better, explodes a couple of metres and has a shot well protected on the line by McDonough. But it was that ability to get out of the space, get out into the open space, read it better than anyone else and get the reward for her team on the back of that. So she's been doing that all afternoon, as the Hawks are. That's the real glaring gap between these two teams for me at the moment. Ability to get out into the space from congestion.
2 goals for Emily Bates as she comes off and has a little breather. 16 disposals. You see that scoreline now is a 34-point lead of the Hawks. And the #1 team in the competition for points per game. They average 65 points per game, which is a high number in the AFLW competition.
Yeah, we consider some really established teams, the Brisbane and Adelaide and North Melbourne, have been traditionally those teams that have scored really heavily, and Hawthorn are still emerging as a program, really. Dan Webster's come in, put in a really strong system. It's full on, like they get the ball, they want to play. They want to go straight away, which puts pressure on the opposition teams, which creates options forward of the ball, which creates space. If you maintain possession, chain possession like the Hawks seem to be able to do, you have a chance to score and hit the scoreboard.
Bella Lewis drives up the line, 6-4-40 the Hawks. West Coast, 1 straight 6. This quarter's been going 11 minutes.
That ball from Lewis was the one you were talking about before, Curbs. Held up, Hawthorn get a chance to fill the lane down the line, get the numbers in, and they kick to all the Hawthorn numbers. It's a result for Hawthorn.
Strength from Breed. Ripped off a couple of tackles and Fleming spirals the ball long and direct. McDonough one-on-one with Wakeford. He did well to make sure initially that McDonough didn't get goal side. Both players fall to ground. Excellent from Wakeford. Got it clear to Swanson. Big win one-on-one there.
Huge result for the Eagles. Open side. Keep it going.
They try and explore the outer expanses. Gibson presents. And come back in board. They've got an extra number here. Jade Britton snuck forward.
Weston's still forward too. If they can win this, she's sitting all by herself.
Everest. And Richardson. Still a 2-on-1. Back in the corridor. Oh. Pressure from McLaughlin, but West Coast hold up okay. Here's Laura Elliott. Works backwards. Can't pull. Have to be clean. Gibson. Interception. Tough kick from the pocket. Bends that ball back. Not far away.
So there might have been some front-on contact there for Ella Roberts, but not paid. See the replay. I reckon you're going to be close to getting a free kick for that.
That was a lot better. That was great to see from the Eagles. You want to see that. You want to see their run and carry and take on the game and utilise the backdoor hand pass and release those players on the run and carry. It's a good look when they're doing that.
Agreed.
It's Hosking straight off the bench like a battering ram. She charges towards the footy. She just likes tackling people. It must be in the genes because Sarah's very much the same. Thomas. Kick intercepted by Lucas Robb.
Read the ball nicely off the boot to Tilly then.
Disposal number 11. And they're always such a good user from half back.
So they'll play this side as well. This is the safe side. We've been talking about that into the boys. So they'll play this side, but they'll work the ball up a little bit more methodically than the Eagles have done through that second term in particular. And then they'll get this ball and they'll get out. The Eagles done a good job to keep it in.
Vukic was led to the footy.
It feels like there's a slight difference of ball use with the Hawks and the Eagles. I feel like the Hawks are grabbing it and they're clean. They're utilising that backdoor hand pass. I feel like Eagles are grabbing it clean and then they're just trying to swing it or put it on the boot.
Charlie Thomas got a late free kick. It was a dump tackle by Eliza West. Snap around the corners, close from Roberts. They've had a good 4 or 5 minutes here, West Coast.
They've got to hit the scoreboard, otherwise this game's over. Got to put some pressure on. 9:53 for the quarter in favour of Hawthorn, who are going not to the scoring end. So it's the last 3 minutes, or the last 5 minutes or so, as you say, Jack, where they've got those insides. Giving them a chance, but they've got to hit the scoreboard here pretty quick.
Ashmore stands and waits. Game number 75 last Sunday against the Dockers. Searches for Stevenson, who's got some support through Michaela Williamson. Wakeford took a while. That's going to create some problems. McDonough tapped it on for Fleming, who's going to be very sore, but when she wakes up,
Be annoyed. But he's stolen a goal. They're going to bring it back, are they? No?
they're going to pay the goal to Greta Bodie by the looks of it. So poor old Jazz Fleming's been pile-driven into the turf and doesn't even get to kick a goal.
They're the ones. You don't have the absolute pile driver into the turf on this hard deck too, just by the way, not get the reward for your effort and have a shot at goal. It's hard there for Jazz Fleming, but again, that was one of those situations where Hawthorn had players goal side. Fleming, there's the free kick. It absolutely gets ridden into the ground by Zoe Wakeford. And Greta Bodie says, I'll take some of this action if you don't mind. I've been working up and down the ground here. I'll get some reward for this. Number 7 for the Hawks.
Well, the only positive maybe for Jazz Fleming is that Greta Bodie owes her a coffee during the week, because that was a freebie.
I'd say breakfast for that.
Definitely. Smashed
full meal.
Smashed Avo, the whole works. That's now a 38-point lead of the Hawks, who will be kicking with the aid of this strong breeze in the last quarter.
That's better attack by the Eagles. Attack on the ball defensively as well. 1%ers. We'll see the 1%ers with the Shepherds when the footy's in hand of the Hawks players and what they're doing around the footy. We're seeing that now with the Eagles in the last minute.
There's Bella Lewis. 17 minutes played. 7-4-46 Hawthorn. 1-2-8 West Coast. Hawks have got another game here next Saturday. They'll host GWS. They've started to become very comfortable with the dimensions here at Kinetic Stadium. West, quick by hand. And Stevenson on the end of it is presented well. Playing as a centre-half forward today. Back over a mark, and McDonough extends and takes a good one.
She's good. She's very good. It was a nice ball in from Stevenson in fairness, but her ability to read the ball, launch at the right time, get at its highest point is a real feature of her game. Let alone her work rate. She's a tremendous athlete. Works up and down the ground all day. And she is good.
4 times this season, she's kicked 2 or more. Anya McDonough. This for number 2. And a cap off a very, very good quarter. She slams it into the post.
Interesting part of this for Days is, as we talked about pre-game, just outside the 8-on percentage at the moment. This isn't going to help. This blows out a bit in the last quarter with Hawthorn getting some more goals on the board. And despite the fact that they might finish on 6 wins, that percentage is going to preclude them, you'd think, on sneaking into the finals. Now, that's not necessarily a disaster. They've had a successful year already, in my view, but they've come this far. They'd be trying to grow every week, give themselves a chance to have that finals experience if possible.
Two of their next 3 games at home, or 2 of their final 3 games at home, I should say. They've got a game next Saturday afternoon at home against Fremantle. They've got Geelong, the West as well, and then they'll travel to Sydney and Henson Park in the final round of the season. Stevenson still doing everything she can to stay in the team.
Yeah, she's having a good day. Lou.
McDonald taps it on. Gilroy's never too far away. Fleming with a spiralling ball. Locke read it nicely off the pack. She helped herself to a goal.
Just watching that ball that's an arc forward there, curved just around the arc, and when it hit the deck, the spacing of the Hawks, they own really good space. They weren't all clumped in around the contest. They weren't too far back. They had really good players at the source, first receiver, second receiver position. As a result, you get the ball to Fleming, and it wasn't a perfect kick going inside forward 50, but they had space and time to do it, to execute and find their way through and get it inside deep inside their forward 50 where the pressure was on the opposition. And Sophie Locke got it done for her first goal of the day.
6 individual goal kickers now for Hawthorn, Curbs. They can come at you from so many different ways.
I was just thinking, in the last 2 or 3 minutes, their cleanliness and their run and carry and what they're doing with the footy, they're looking dangerous for any opposition coming up against them in the next few weeks.
Looks like Jess Hosking's been moved to Eliza West this third quarter to try and slow her down, but it's got options everywhere.
Good crew in the middle. Bates and West. Fleming's through there at the moment. Bodie's on a wing. Breen can be really strong around there to see her attack this footy.
And knocked away from her. Stevenson locks the ball away again. The jumper that Hawthorn are wearing was designed by Tilly Lucas-Rod and Lou Stevenson. Looks fantastic with the Rainbow Hawk front and centre. Still time for another for the Hawks. A couple of Eagles collide with each other. Locke rolls it on, but Wakeford there first. That ball was touched before it arrived with Cleaver.
Just looking at the Eagles forward line as well.
Been a big quarter for the Hawks against the Breeze. They kick 4 goals and they take a 45-point lead into three-quarter time. The final quarter is on its way next from Kinetic Stadium in Frankston.
Well, what can you say, folks? But this is pure football expo at its best with Hawthorn. 8-5, 53 leading the Eagles, 1-2-8. Even though the Hawks were kicking against the Breeze, they still managed to put on 4 goals too. The Eagles could only manage 2 behinds, playing most of the time down forwards of Hawthorn. They just look too good in all areas around the ground. West Coast Eagles have had a fantastic season so far, up to date, and of course they really do see where they are at the moment, playing against, well, a very, very good outfit in Hawthorn, who will be on top of the ladder after this game today. All right, let's go and have a look at the goal scorers and the disposal getters for this game. Multiple goal scorers for Hawthorn, Aileen Gilroy and Emily Bates. They both got 2 goals each. Have a look at Emily Bates. 2 goals. She's had 18 disposals, 12 kicks, 6 handballs, a mark, 4 tackles. You don't get much better than that, folks. She's having a ring-a-ding, ding-ding game. Louise Stevenson, Aine McDonough, Sophie Locke, Greta Bodie, all singles for the Hawks, and of course the only goal scorer, Kelly Gibson, for the West Coast Eagles. Let's go across now and have a look at the disposal count. See how your favourite player is getting along, and of course that's Eliza West and Emily Bates on the disposal. They're topping the table, both with 18 disposals each. Charlotte Thomas, best of the West Coast Eagles, 17 disposals. All right, let's just roll down the board as we do. Check the stats for your player. Thanks, Sniper, for hanging in there, bruh. Good on you, Ryan. Good stuff, boys. All right, just rolling down. Check out your players. We'll quickly go over and have a little bit of a look at the team stats again. As you can see, Hawthorn getting out where it was reasonably level at half time. They're out to a 26 disposal lead. So they had, they dominated that quarter, didn't they? Absolutely dominated that quarter. Have a look at the inside 50s, folks. Hawthorn already well above their season average. And their average score for the season is 65 points, which is pretty high in AFLW action. 35 inside 50s for 13 scoring shots. They're going well, the Hawks. 15 only for the Eagles. Not good enough if you want to win a game of football for 3 scoring shots. Free kicks, 20-8. Hawthorn getting all the favours there. Hit-outs, Hawthorn dominating. Starting to get on top in the clearances and stoppage clearances. Contested possession and uncontested. Hawthorn just tore them apart in that third term. And of course, turnovers, West Coast Eagles turning the ball over a little bit more. There we go. Marks inside still at 50, still 4-2. Let's head down and look at the tackles. And as we can see, the tackle count, it's the Hawks by 17. They're certainly bringing the heat against the Eagles. They just look a little bit too fast around the ground. They're just skillful, fast. They're linking up. They're showing composure. They're showing a little bit of poise are the Hawthorn players, and they're looking really good. Tackles inside 50. Holy dolly. 18 Hawthorn, only 3 to the West Coast Eagles. You got to lift Eagles if you want to put pressure back onto Hawthorn. Just checking out that live ladder and have a look at Hawthorn on top of the ladder now after 8 games being played with 1 quarter to go. 7 wins, 1 loss, 182 on the percentage. They're doing quite well. With, of course, all the other teams yet to play. West Coast Eagles, as I said, they stay at 10th. Percentage dropping, which is going to be dangerous for them coming into the final few games of the home and away season. All right, let's get back to the action. Will Hawthorn extend their lead, or can West Coast find a little bit of grit and fight and close this margin up? All right, it's the Hawks by 45.
Field, they were bananas in that third term. Plus 13 for contested possession. It was evens at half-time. Uncontested, they were plus 9. It was even at half-time. Clearances, they were down minus 3 at half-time. That was plus 7 for the quarter for the Hawks now. Inside 50 is 14-3. Look at the percentage now for the West Coast Eagles. The Hawks are on top, just by the way. Wow. West Coast are down to 79.6. That's a problem. The Hawks, with this game ahead, are currently sitting on top of the AFLW ladder with a very healthy percentage as well. And a few more goals this last term, Curbs, it might even be better.
Yeah, and they're going with the breeze as well, but they're capitalising. I felt like they've built on each quarter that they were playing, and the last quarter really showed that. And I think you mentioned it was a bit of a clinic. They're clean, they're moving through the footy. It's almost like a cue.
Let's get downstairs. Lauren Wood is there.
Thanks very much, Jack. With a pretty happy Daniel Webster, which is to be expected. The scoreboard's in your favour, but they've just mentioned nearly every stat you've wrenched back your way. You must be so pleased.
Yeah, especially that quarter working into the breeze. It's obviously, it can be tricky ground going to the breeze, skiddy ground. So, really happy with that part of it. And, hopefully finish off, get a good last quarter in.
The Irish are leading the way up forward, but 6 individual goal kickers too. That's something you must be happy with as well.
Yeah, we don't want to rely on one, but the Irish girls up forward have been fantastic today. They're brilliant.
They give you a laugh along the way too, I bet.
No, they certainly do, that's for sure. No, they're good fun. But again, hopefully we can finish off and finish off a good day.
All right, get out there and do that. Thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you.
There's been a lot of discussion about Hawthorn and what they're doing well. I think their coach can take a lot of credit too, Huff. No doubt. He's done a great job. Prior to his time in the AFLW, coached a couple of flags in the quaffle with Aspley. Been working with Craig Starcevich in the AFLW program up there at the Brisbane Lions, which has been enormously successful. He's a good coach. No issues there. He's a beauty and showing exactly what he's made of, building this team in a short period of time. The major challenge for West Coast here, Kirby, is to make sure that this doesn't get beyond 10 goals or more. It's 45 points at the moment. Really got to try and hold their nerve.
Yeah, and being a developing team as well, I think as much as the score is what it is, you still need to build and you still need to make sure you're doing the basic fundamentals and locking down plays and being clean with the footy.
That is a terrific mark. Oh, he hit well. That's a beauty. That's a beauty. Strong contested mark. Oh, I think she's a super talent, this kid as well. She's growing week by week. We certainly haven't seen the top of her talents, but Those little moments will certainly help her confidence going forward. That was a cracker.
Pick number 10 in the 2022 draft. Another of these dangerous Hawthorn forwards.
That's not the cracker I made.
That's not what you were searching for, but that'll help.
That'll do.
Gilroy, right place, right time.
I wonder what she'll do. Will she come out and swing this on the left, or will she go the banana?
You called it earlier. This is the toughest pocket to kick from.
She's going to swing this on the left, I reckon. It's a great angle we've got to have a bit of a look at what's happening.
She already has two. She's going to kick the banana. Try and sit it up in the breeze. Hawks still hunting West. Never stops hunting.
That was great by the Hawks to be able to come up and compete aerially and take that strong mark. Obviously, it flew off the side of her boot and can have another set shot at goal. But when that footy has been brought back into the goal, set shot at goal again, and it comes to ground, Hawks are all over it. They're competing. They're first to the footy, and obviously they've stopped that goal in. And you know, it's not a great result on the Eagles, but Hawks are really building.
What a year she's having. 18 disposals, 8 ground ball gets, 5 score involvements, 3 inside 50, 7 clearances, and now a goal for Eliza West.
Yeah, she's the recruit of the year for mine. Absolutely what they needed. Kirby's been on about it all day. She's spot on. She's clean. She gets the ball more often not contested situations. She's clean as she feeds it out. Got a bit of lick of the ice cream on that one with a snag inside forward 50, but she's such an important part of this whole puzzle. Keep talking about that all afternoon. This Hawthorn puzzle. She might just be the centrepiece.
The Hawks played 2 games in week 6. Eliza West got 17 of a possible 20 Coaches Association votes across week 6. She's headed for another 10 today. Here's Drennan. Drifts to half-back. Shares wide with Swanson and a bit of link-up play here from West Coast.
Good.
Roberts sat it in the air for a while. Kick didn't really do any favours for Western.
That's a better look play for the Eagles. That's what you want to see. That's how they play. That's a style as well. And it was clean, and being able to utilise their pace as well. It draws Hawks, you know, to a bit of a disadvantage. They start to chase.
Richardson has held up well across half-back, as has Elliott. Awkward ball into the middle. McDonough's goal side. Huge problems here for West Coast because Anya McDonough is on the march. Prances inside 50. Hold will be going the way of West Coast.
I thought she was holding position there, Stevenson, but obviously got a couple of hands in the back there at Charlie Thomas.
Zoe Wakefoot has tried her hardest.
Yeah, been out of the pump a bit this afternoon, the way the balls come in.
Sophie Locke. Might just test her. She's a great finisher around goals.
Oh, she's giving it a hook.
She's giving it a fair chance, but puts it out of bounds on the full.
She didn't really look, it's interesting watching that, Kev. She didn't really look like she wanted to have a shot. She just kicked it off a couple of steps.
Yeah, that's sort of how I saw the warm-up earlier. They were just doing a one-step kick into the goal, so it might be a part of their routine.
Well, it ended your routine, went out the full.
It's funny watching that warm-up with Hawthorn. They were just taking pot shots from everywhere, kicking with the breeze, weren't they?
And slotting them.
Yeah, all of them, yeah. It was like party time while the coach wasn't watching. Just have pings from everywhere.
Maybe that's what it was.
Kemp can reload. Another whistle. This one will be going to Lou Stevenson. She gave away the last one. And she's on the end of this one.
Way too many free kicks been given away in defensive 50 by the Eagles today. Just give me opportunities for the opposition. You can't afford to do that. 8 against them, inside 4, in defensive 50 for them.
We mentioned earlier, a wonderful pride jumper that Hawthorn are wearing today was designed by this young lady alongside Tilly Lucas-Rod. For her second In a game that means so much to her. All smiles.
It was a lovely finish by Lou Stevens, who brings up her second. As you say, 3 multiple goal kickers now for the Hawks. Straight over the umpire's hat. No issues whatsoever. Beautiful action. Just checked the kick a little bit in the end. Didn't need the distance. But the smile was out early doors. And she knew it was straight through the middle for the Hawks. 65 points again. Another huge score on the scoreboard. And they are having their way with the Eagles at the moment.
She's found it a little hard to have a permanent spot in the team this year, Lou Stevenson. It's only her 3rd game, but that's the right time of year to be playing good footy.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And when you get your chance, fill your boots. It's got to be one of those situations for players in that, on that part of your list. She's doing that today.
And Bushby from the centre clearance. Great mark by Richardson. Back with courage. What can the learnings be for West Coast in this last quarter, Curves? What can they try and take away from this?
I think obviously the fundamentals has been key. When Hawks are as clean as they are and Eagles are probably running it over or, you know, missing those little skill sets, it plays a big part in it. And again, then shutting it off, knowing that the score is what it is, but staying in the game and building as a back line, mid-line and forward line as well, I think it plays a big part.
Daisy Pearce coaching from the bench today. She told Lauren Wood earlier it's all about learning for her, but I'd imagine half in this last quarter there'd be a lot of sort of one-on-one feedback coming.
Yeah, I would hope so. That's the beauty of being able to coach on the bench. You get access to call a few shots like Daisy was doing on that occasion. But you can talk to players on the field, you can get them on the bench and make it really clear very quickly about what's good and what's bad. We see Ella Roberts darting out of half back, which is what we're going to see more of.
She's so quick off the mark.
So much scope in her game, Ella Roberts. And we saw Matilda Scholes the other night for Port Adelaide. These are the talents that are coming through. They're just going to be fantastic players in this competition.
Just footballers who think like footballers, who understand the game. And
yeah, spot on.
Hawthorn took the advantage. McDonough bounced the ball. It was either holding or holding the ball. It ended up being neither.
You're spot on. It should have been one of them. Should have held the ball first, I reckon.
Yep.
And then it was holding, but neither was played.
Lachlan pops a handball over the top to Fleming. Good kick to a disciplined area. And Beth Schilling runs out of space there. She's been one of West Coast's best today.
She's been busy, hasn't she? All the West Coast defenders, they have been very busy today. It's a 50s 42 to 15.
It's a massive differential, isn't it?
And one, consider West Coast had 10 in the first quarter.
Richardson absorbed the tackle. With Simmons, we've sung her praises today. Roxy Rue was flying through. Interfered.
This is the other thing. This is the other learning, I reckon, Curbs, that it's just what the level is, what the next level is. In preparation, in conditioning, in effort. It's just watching Emily Bates come off the ground before. Like the tank is empty when she comes off. It is done. She's got nothing left. She goes and rejuvenates, comes back on and does her thing again. But I just don't think we see that level of effort, intensity often enough and consistently enough from enough for this young West Coast Eagles team.
Yeah, I agree with you too, and you know, obviously it's a part of development and their progression as a club. And once they get that, because you see glimpses of great football play, and once they have that tank and that fundamentals in play, I think it'll be pretty exciting.
Fleming. Kick out into space. It was clever. Ashmore's quick. Can't get back onto her right foot. Gilroy can, and she thumps that ball from outside 50 to the goal square. McDonough taken out. Hipwell snaps and is out of bounds on the full.
Hawthorn got that opportunity because at half forward, Ella Roberts overran the footy. Now, she's one of the most elite young talents we've got in the game. We talked about being clean all afternoon. Eliza West would have grabbed that clean. and it would have been in the West Coast hands, it would have been able to chain it out and find some space. So just little things. They're the learnings. They're the opportunities for growth for this West Coast team when they do review this tape.
Hosking assessed the situation nicely. Turns around but has nothing to work with ahead. Gemma Richardson has had a very, very strong afternoon at half-back. That's disposal number 14.
Maybe she's having some PTSD, Jess Hosking. She told us about the story. Someone put a machete on her at the back here one day when she was growing up. She was working at Cold Rock Ice Creamery. Maybe she's having some PTSD.
Yeah, the problem for that person is they picked out Jess Hosking. She still won the battle. Didn't end well for them. Vukic with the interception. Pick a better target next time. Here's Lucas Rod. McDonough was out the back for it, but Wake for Reddit better coming in.
Fundamental, they drop the mark. The little things. These are the things that Days will hone in on. Do the simple things better, and the game gets a lot easier.
9 inside 50s to 1 in this term. As Gilroy bursts through. The ball rolls across the face and out of bounds. They are the real deal, Hawthorn. There's no question about that. They are going to be one of the teams to contend with at the end of the season. Here's what's to come. The Giants here next Saturday afternoon.
They'll win that.
And then they travel to the top end. They play Melbourne at Kazali Stadium.
They should win that.
Richmond in round 10 at the Swinburne Centre, which is potentially top 4, even top 2 for Hawthorn, and for Richmond it'll be an important one too.
Yeah, so they could, 9-2, 10-1 is where I've sort of got them. That's top 2, top 4 lock. That's top 4 lock, which would be an amazing story.
Can you see them, when it gets to that stage of the year, can you see them contending with North Melbourne and with Adelaide and with Brisbane?
Yeah, I can, absolutely.
Yep. Kirby, you're nodding your head as well.
Yeah, the way that they've sort of played this game out, I know, the score is what it is, but they're tightening up and finessing their game. I feel like they're able to move through, but every player is playing a crucial role at different times. The 1%ers, the cleanliness through traffic and the ability to look to switch and spread when it's needed. I think they're just sort of warming up.
They're beat by Adelaide. They only lost this year to Adelaide in Adelaide. But they're a better team now.
Bodie driving through. Yeah, I feel like they would have learnt a lot from that Adelaide loss.
Well, they've talked about that since that game. And I think they're a much better team now than they were at that game. It was around 3 or 4, so it was relatively new still in the Webster era.
Kenzie Eardley to come back into the team. Was out with concussion today, so she's another forward option for them.
And finding the players that fit, like Lou Stevens hasn't played for a couple of games, but finding those players that fit, it's finessing.
It's been the word of the day.
It is.
I like it.
Used it twice in 3 minutes.
But you've used it well, that's the key.
Thank you.
And it's dripping in clever here.
So a couple of chances to kick her second. Distance shouldn't be an issue here. That's not great contact. 1 goal, 3.
It's unbalanced. I've seen her kick the ball ever, I reckon, when you tie on that occasion. She's coming to the bench. She might be gassed.
It's got pretty warm. It was forecast to be around the 15, 16 degrees. I think Lauren Wood said it earlier. It's a lot warmer than that.
Saw the time in forward half stats there, 84% to the Hawks in this last quarter. In the third quarter was 75% into the breeze. Second quarter was 93%. So they've owned the game. They've owned the whole game since quarter time. Have absolutely dominated possession and territory.
Richardson rewarded. And Hosking caught holding the ball. Kept it low coming in. Bushby takes it over as calls of deliberate. Give him a chance.
Right, Abigail Bushby just go about her business, doing her best. Just doing her best.
They're relentless, this Hawthorn team. That might extend to some of their supporters too. The Eagles have not kicked a goal since quarter time.
Doesn't look like it.
So well set up behind the ball, Hawthorn. Kemp's been one of those, as has Richardson.
Whenever a Hawks player has a footy in hand, it's almost like a cue for them to spread or to create shape or space or leading options. I think that's a slight difference with the Eagles coming out of that back line just then. There weren't any options.
It's a strong tackle for Vukic and Hoskin.
She's a bit slow to get going too. Jess Hosking. Bit of feeling out there towards the end of the game. Matea Breed will never take a backward step.
Blood rule for Hosking. She's going to come off. Got a 50-metre penalty for the afters, as we see the tackle here. She sort of went limp, Jess. Didn't try to fight the tackle, which, with the ferocity of the tackle, just, you see real ragdoll motion. It's dangerous.
Anything to worry about there?
No, I don't think so. I prefer Jess to not go limp and not try and fight that a little bit more, because that's when you can put yourself in a dangerous situation.
There's still a bit of feeling out there. Last couple of minutes.
Someone's been dropped off the ball.
Yeah, we've seen
Kemp's drop somebody, Gibson off the ball.
Yeah. Ainsley Kemp, try and get a look at this, but West Coast ran to her straight away.
It's going to be a 50-metre advancement again, so the ball's going to be about 30 metres out, 25 metres out for the Eagles. No one knows who's going to kick it. It's going to go to Harkin, looks like.
They've done so many things right today, Hawthorn. The last 60 seconds or so, I don't think it pleased Daniel Webster too much.
A bit odd considering the situation of the game, yeah.
It's been 72 minutes since their last goal. Jamie Harkin to try and change that late. Ashmore bangs it away. We've still got to play it down, so we might need to stop play here. Let's have a look here. Kelly Gibson getting in the face of Kemp.
Well, there's not much there, is there? Give a sack of spud sort of stuff from Kelly Gibson. She's in a bad way, though. Look, she's doubled over still on the way out with the trainers. It doesn't look like much from that motion.
Probably the worry here, Kurt, is where she's grabbing that sort of sternum area.
Didn't look like much force, though, did it?
No, yeah, you're right. It didn't look like a lot of force, but it might have just hit a certain spot. She might have been hit there before, so it's a bit of a worry for Kemp as well. Gibson, I hope she's all right, and that might be a review.
Well, I'll certainly have a look at it, because any player that's sent from the field from an instant like that, off the ball, will be looked at. I must admit, it didn't seem to be a hell of a lot in it, but she's in a pretty awkward way.
It'll be a nervous wait for Ainsley Kemp. Particularly with the score the way it is, and so late in the game.
Yeah, last thing you'd be expecting.
The final 90 seconds. Ball bounces end on end on end. Well assessed by Schilling. A risky kick back into the corridor. Fleming was awake to it. Looked it away from Swanson. Wakefer in the vicinity. And now Bodie arrives, and when she tackles, they stick. Umpire quickly throws the ball back up. Stevenson went flashing through. Did it well, got it back to Greta Bodie. One goal, one in the afternoon in her second season as a Hawk, Greta Bodie. $59 points is the margin. And Matea Breed marks and goes straight away. They're still with an insatiable appetite to kick goals, this Hawthorn team.
It's just a real urgency to get going when Hawthorn get the ball. Doesn't matter where they are on the ground, they want to send it forward. Or keep the game in flow, keep the game going. Catches opposition defenders on the hop. And as you say, Jack, one of the most admirable traits I think they display is they're just relentless, ruthless, and they will play to the final siren, regardless of the situation or the score.
They could have easily just coasted through this last quarter, but They know no other way. Ashmore, that's a wonderful kick, intelligent kick. The bounce, though, wasn't exactly to the liking of Elliott. And Bates right next to her. Her short kick is good one, and Gilroy will kick after the siren.
She's the one you want to have a kick, because she'll get there. Although the siren's going to go, she's going to play on. So the way she kicks with a bit of an arc, they're going to have to get her to go back off the line and come back onto it, if that makes any sense. Go left of it. There you go. You see the steps left now. And she'll be able to roll around and kick from the line of the mark.
She was slotting these for fun in the pre-game. And she finishes off with a big one. Her third of the afternoon. It's been a party all afternoon long in Frankston. The Hawks, winners by 66 points.
We love our club and we play to win. Riding the punch with the grin and all from a main and the sky. Teamwork is the thing that goes. That's the ball and all to us when we play it.
That's hot ball at its finest today. They'd be happy about that, the faithful. 66-point margin, and outside of the first perhaps 10 minutes of the game, 15 minutes of the game, it was all one way, and a great display of what this club and what this team has been building through this season under Dan Webster curbs, and to see it in action again today against a quality opposition who I really rate. I love what Days has done through this season with this West Coast Eagles group. They were found absolutely wanting today against the Hawks.
Yeah, I love what Days has done with the Eagles as well, and they're obviously a developing club, and their future looks bright. So once they start to use the word again, finesse on their skill set and their understanding and what it looks like to play under pressure with a scoreline like that, it's actually going to be a pretty good look club. But to watch Hawthorn play the way they played today and build throughout the quarters and still to the very last minute look to switch and bring that football in, they're pretty exciting.
They had stars all over the ground today, but Lauren Wood is with one of their brightest.
I certainly am, Jack. Of course, Emily Bates, a magnificent win, and now sitting atop of the AFLW ladder. It's a pretty place to be.
Yeah, that's incredible. I'm really proud of the group. Just like being able to put more speed on the ball, play our way. We weren't happy with how we played here against Gold Coast, so it was good to play more our brand. Bit of hockball is good.
It is a little bit of hockball. They just mentioned that in the commentary. You obviously got a long-standing relationship with your new coach, Daniel Webster. Whatever he is saying to you girls, it is working. You have such an exciting brand of footy.
Oh, he's an incredible coach. I think the way he was able to just layer up our game style and game system throughout the preseason makes it so clear for us. So I think we all just have really clear minds going to the game. We know what our role is, and it's all about bringing your weapons, which we love.
And it showed today. A fantastic crowd here to see a fantastic performance. Get in there and sing that song.
Thanks, Lauren. Cheers.
7 goal kickers for the afternoon for Hawthorn. Emily Bates leading the way with 22 disposals, 12 of those contested, 4 inside 50s, 8 clearances, 2 goals. She is the complete package.
Yeah, not much you can't like about Emily Bates on and off the field. She's a beauty, a great leader of this group too. Taking over the captaincy this year, of course, and it's really led from the front. They've got a great combination. Lauren's conversation about her relationship with Dan Webster is important. His time at Brisbane was part of the midfield team, so great result for both of them.
66 points is the final margin this afternoon at Kinetic Stadium in Frankston. They are a happy team at Hawthorn, and they are on top of the AFLW ladder. On behalf of Kirby, Half, Lauren Wood and all of our team behind the scenes, thanks so much for being with us today. The Hawks get it done in a big way.
Go for
All right, there we go, folks. That is game, set, match, Hawthorn. Wowee. What can you say but just magnificent? 11-8, 74. 66-point winners over the West Coast Eagles, 1-2-8. Of course, West Coast could only manage 2 behinds for the final 3 quarters of the game. Hawthorn putting 2 goals 3 in that final term to register 11 goals 8. Tell you what, they are a team to be reckoned with. They are a force in this competition. It'll be great to see how they play when they actually get the chance to play again against Adelaide, Brisbane, North Melbourne. Some of these great sides in the competition But of course, Hawthorn go on top of the ladder now. They are the leaders with all other teams still yet to play. Hawthorn remain on top. Still got a few good games coming up though. That being said, to complete this round, of course, we've got Richmond, Geelong, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Fremantle, Carlton, North Melbourne, Sydney, St Kilda, Melbourne, GWS and Adelaide. So we've got quite a few more games coming up your way, folks. Should be an absolute ring-a-ding-ding. Couple of days of football. But that's all we've got for this one, for this live, where we saw a fantastic Hawthorn team run out big victors here by 66 points over the West Coast Eagles down here at Kinetic Stadium in Frankston along by the seaside. Welcome in and to the live chat. Addy G, welcome in nice and early there. Just relax there and enjoy. All right, folks, I'm going to let this one go right now. I think I might cover the next game coming up. And, of course, that is the Richmond Tigers taking on Geelong, all starting in 4 minutes' time. That'll be played at the Swinburne Centre in Melbourne, so that should be another great game there where both teams are going well. And, of course, the Tigers are going well. If we have a look at this here, Richmond sitting fourth on the ladder. Well, they're looking to have a victory today, and they'll jump up in a second. Can you believe it? And, of course, the Geelong Cats, they need to win today to keep their season alive, or it is season over pretty much for Geelong. But, yeah, I probably expect Richmond to win the next game, but I think it's going to be a very, very tight game. A couple of reasonable sides there playing off next in the next AFLW match we've got on show for you. All right, folks, thanks all for joining in on this live stream. If you want to check out the next game, Richmond and Geelong, cross over to my next live, which will be up and about in about a minute or two, and we'll see you there. But, yeah, thanks, everyone, for joining in. And just before I go, we did have the poll there. And, of course, 61% voted Hawthorn would win this game today. So well done to everyone in the live chat for voting for Hawthorn. We got that one right today. All right, folks, that's it. It is over and out for this game. Until next time, ciao for now. We'll see you in the next game in just a couple of moments.